Yes, yes, yes. We're back, everybody. How are you, all of my darling Clementines? It's Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and guess what? I'm pumped like I am every week because I have yet another gorgeous and delightful deck. This week, we're going to be taking a look at the Universal Folk Oracle. This is both written and illustrated by Anita Inverarity. And just so, I mean, the cover is one of the cards. So this gives you an idea of what we're looking at. I love this deck. Where did I get this deck? I think I got this deck at my favorite esoteric bookstore in New York. So for my New York people, or anybody who's going to be going to go visit, check out Namaste Books. I think it's like around 14th Street. It's by the Union Square stop, but it's gigantic. They have 2 whole storefronts, and it's just, they have such a huge selection of tarot cards, just unbelievably enormous. But also a lot of really cool just stuff. They've got jewelry, they've got pretty decent quality crystals, best price I found in Manhattan for sure. And all kinds of like herbs and bits and bobs, although of course they always recommend that people go to their neighborhood botanicas for things like, you know, Florida water and herbs and stuff like that. But they carry that stuff as well. I always went for the tarot cards, and every time I go back, I always visit and get myself a deck or 2 or 3 or 4. But yeah, so this one is absolute gorgeous artwork. And this is kind of like, there's something very December about this one, right? So I love this deck because there is something very like December and wintry about like kind of snuggling down under your covers and like reading folk tales by a fire with like a cup of tea. And there's something about the art that really embraces that beautiful coziness, right? So what she's envisioning for this deck is that these aren't specific folk tales that she's illustrating. What she's doing is she is trying to create a universal style that connects the thematics of folk tales kind of in general, so that it's something that a lot of people can look at and respond to. So Oracle decks are such a great way to bring in this idea of the hero's journey, which is like a major theme, obviously, in folktales, is like the heroics, good versus evil, right? Love, sacrifice, gaining greater wisdom after a few hard lessons. And so it's a really good framework for an oracle deck. So she includes like magical creatures and fantastic lands. Oh, there's our titular card. And fantastic landscapes and magical objects, things that you might find in a folktale. And I love her style. It's very beautiful. It's linear, it's graphic, but it's not too harsh. Her use, it's the pattern for me here. Like the way that she uses pattern, her sense of space is quite flattened, but it's just all of this beautiful, gorgeous, rich pattern, the florals, the repetitions, the way that she creates her lines, right, in these gorgeous patterns, the way that she's creating the hair. It's all about creating rhythms, which I think really connects to why the artwork of this deck feels so kind of peaceful and cozy to me, because there is something very unified about it. There is a lot of harmony in how she's using pattern. Like this kind of thing can easily go overstimulating, right? It can easily go to a place that feels a little too busy, like super loud. But she does it in a way where like it keeps this kind of soothing rhythm. Like, see spaceships here. I love this one. So she's not evoking specific fairy tales, but she is looking at the motifs of folklore and bringing them together with this oracle deck kind of being our own sort of heroic journey. So absolutely gorgeous. I love this deck. So let's take a look and see what she has to tell us today. Another thing I love about this deck, like this card here, I'm looking at it and it's like, these characters, they look like they're feeling something, right? They have a lot of psychology to them. The way that they make eye contact as well. There's a lot of, there's a psychology to it. Like these characters seem to have an inner life, or they're pausing in the middle of something, which I think is really, really interesting, right? So I'm going to give her a little shuffle. It's just, this deck, there's something kind of magnetic about it to me. I really like to use this deck as kind of like an activator. Like if there's anything that I need to do, because it is very much about the hero's journey. And if I'm the hero, my journey has a lot to do with me learning things. It has a lot to do with me healing things. It has a lot to do with me, here we go. Wow, we got two cards today. It has a lot to do with, me going through this process of metamorphosis, right? So this is a great deck to activate those parts of you that need to transition, or that need to learn, or that need to heal. And so I really like to think of this kind of deck as an activator. So we have two cards that came up for us. The first one is Messages, Synchronicity, Memory, Mind Healing, number 27. And she's got a couple of crows with her as well. Crows have a lot to do with psychic energy. We have a fire here as well. And then this one, uniqueness, unique, perfect, self, honor. And this one is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at the rhythms of those clouds. There's something almost like a butterfly wing being evoked with her coat. That beautiful, like, circular rainbow makes me think of like, like a Hieronymus Bosch kind of situation. Really, really, really beautiful. So we have messages and we have uniqueness. So if I'm thinking about this, kind of what I'm getting from the off is this idea that messages, right, they come through us because each of us has something unique to offer. And so I'm thinking about December, and I'm kind of thinking about the fact that things can be loud and busy and overstimulating, right, which can keep us from hearing those messages, right? So I think that, like, we're being asked to, again, be careful, kind of keep our eyes peeled for messages, for synchronicities that are going to be coming through, right? Because again, crows have a lot to do with like psychic energy. They're like communicators from another world. They're a bridge in some ways. And then you have like the fire and the flame. And I'm thinking of like our inner fire and keeping it burning bright and making sure that it stays fueled so that we have the clarity that we need, right? We were talking about light last week, actually, weren't we? We were talking about the idea of light and the fact that light is something that when these dark days kind of come, dark days of winter, we produce our own light. We have light that comes from within. And I feel like we're being asked to tend to that so that we can receive messages from loved ones on the other side of the veil, from our spirit guides, from any angels that might be surrounding us, right? That there are messengers and messages that are for us, right? And that they are for us specifically, right? So this idea of uniqueness being put in with the idea of messages. I'm thinking about the fact, like, unique, perfect self honor, that like this is a time of year also, because there's so much busyness and overstimulation happening, that we do need to take time for self-care. That in order to hear these messages, we need to be taking that time for the self. And it's interesting because when I cast this circle before I do these collective readings for you all, I ask to be to have that sense of self kind of removed so that I can bring in messages that are for the collective, because many people are going to be watching these, right? And they're kind of coming right back and saying, hey, you know, reminding us that like an ego isn't bad. It's here to help us, because that sense of individuality is something that keeps us grounded here where we are and allows us to have a rich experience. But we do still need to stay tapped into, you know, collectivity. We need to stay tapped into those around us. And there's a lot happening for many people this month, not everybody, but for many people, where you're going to be seeing a lot of people. There's a lot of parties this time of year. There's a lot of gatherings this time of year. There's a lot of like, you know, group like togetherness this time of year. And people kind of run to and fro and they forget to take care of themselves, right? So just make sure that you're taking that time, and don't let yourself get too overwhelmed. And that by keeping this sense of self intact, you're going to be able to more clearly hear the messages and the cues that are going to lead you in the right direction. Where am I going to say, yes, I'm going to go to the party? Where am I going to say, no, I need a rest tonight, right? Where am I going to say, yes, I can stay an extra hour to, you know, help out at work? Or where do I have to say, actually, I've worked over 3 nights in a row and I need to stay home, right? So these are just some examples that are kind of bubbling to mind, and this could have to do with like the people who are going to be watching this later, because it's a collective reading. But yeah, in order for you to make those sovereign decisions for yourself, right, your messages, you're going to need to stay connected. And in order to stay connected, you have to take care of yourself. You have to keep your cup full. Right? So I think that that's our message for today. Thank you all so much for chilling with me and another just absolutely gorgeous deck. I'm going to be on Instagram Live with my friend Michelle next Monday, the 15th. I'm not quite sure what time yet. I will post it when I figure out when we're going to do this. We're going to be talking about our work in the Akashic Records. So if that's something that you're interested in hearing more about, I'll be sure to post the information as soon as I get it and let you guys know when we're going to be on. But yeah, next Monday, December 15th, we'll be in conversation together. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm super excited to bring you a new deck next week. I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to see me chat about tarot.